It's Kat here, and I came today to share this dream I had with you guys. It's a dream I had about a day ago, Friday morning, November 2009. And I share this with you now because I believe it is a warning and an encouragement all in one. Here it is as follows. So when this dream started, I was on the playground with my oldest daughter, and we were just kind of hanging out. And one observation I made is that the playground was pretty empty. We were like the only ones there. But I don't know if that was because the other kids were in school or what the deal was. My kids are homeschooled, so anyways, it was a very beautiful day and everything was pretty normal. And then all of a sudden it was like I was walking home. As I was walking home on foot, basically I walked right into the middle of some absolute chaos. Basically I saw foreign troops. In particular, I saw many Russians take over the area. Now I don't know if all of the troops were Russian, and I don't know if they were all foreign, but the ones I encountered were Russian, and they were very mean. So basically as I was walking home, I saw these troops breaking into people's homes with force, kicking in doors, screaming, just acting crazy. Now I was completely bewildered, just confused, because just a little while before I had taken my daughter to the park and it was a completely normal day. So it was just very strange to see all these things jumping off. It just made me feel like it all happened so suddenly. So I was completely shocked that they had taken over such a large area in such a short amount of time. But I asked one soldier what was going on as I walked by, and he said,
"Training exercise."
And it sounded very rehearsed how he said it. Sometime around when they said that, I noticed they were Russian from the accent. They got very angry at me for asking questions, and one actually, he either spewed something on me or vomited from behind, and I was very disgusted. But I started to run to my home, and as I did, they started to shoot at me. Just to mention really quick, they had what looked like long black rifles, like I guess assault rifles. As I was about home, there was a soldier sitting in a corner, and he tried picking up his rifle to shoot at me. But somehow he couldn't. It was as if there was some unseen force pushing his gun down, keeping him from picking it up. I went and grabbed it from him quickly, and I threw it off the balcony. Then I ran in my home, and I locked and I barricaded myself in there. Now, I was only looking for my family, and I didn't plan on staying. The troops were already trying to break the door down. So my family wasn't there, but a friend of mine was. And as we were looking for an escape out, this person was checking me over for gunshot wounds, telling me that I had to get the bullets out. Amazingly, I had no bullets anywhere in my body. And as we escaped out of this building, I noticed that this whole chaotic scenario was widespread. The soldiers were pulling everyone away from their homes and making them leave everything that they possessed. People were getting taken away somewhere by these troops, and I don't know where they were taking them, but there were soldiers everywhere, swarming. They were telling many that it was a training exercise. And they were very mean. I saw that they let one family go free, and they ushered this family away and into a very expensive car. I don't know exactly what the car was. It looked a little something like this, maybe a Rolls Royce. It was a very expensive car, and it was a family with prestige. I felt possibly maybe a family of government officials. but they were pulled away from the masses of the rest of the people. And it was like a woman, an older son, and an infant. They loaded them into the car and pulled them away from the crowds. Now, as I saw all of this happening, I fled from the immediate area on foot, and I noticed a small crowd getting on a small city bus. So I got on the bus to leave the area as well. And as we drove, I was looking out the window, and I noticed that there were green, covered wagon style army trucks going up and down the streets everywhere. As we passed each neighborhood, I realized that they were taking over the whole area, and there was like 1 to 2 of these army trucks parked on pretty much each block I saw, and soldiers were spreading out everywhere. The city bus stopped at some abandoned apartments, and I got off. I was still looking for my family and alone. Everything around me was abandoned. The apartments looked normal and lived in. Everything you'd normally see in a house, except for no people. Every front door was wide open. All the doors were open. And everything was thrown around, knocked over, messy in these homes. It was a very strange and eerie feeling, because I was the only human being around. And I was looking around for other people. I heard something from a distance as I was looking that sounded like people, and as I got closer, it was a couple, and it was a couple in an apartment. And I'll leave this part out for censorship, but there was no other people around except for that couple, and then out of nowhere, my husband came running in the room and found me, and that was the end of that part of the dream. And the next part of the dream I had, I was basically seeing a gorgeous, gorgeous, pure white bird. And it was flying over the land. And it was a vast amount of land. And as it flew over the land, it affected it. It was making permanent imprints upon what it flew over. It was causing this sweeping effect as it flew over areas. And I heard the phrase, like lightning. As I saw this white bird flying over nations, I saw that the areas were affected permanently. The Holy Spirit is often represented as a white dove. Now I want to mention here that the mood when all this was taking place was not a fearful cowardliness. It was excitement, okay? And the message I want to bring is fear not, okay? Fear not. An earthly general is not going to put the work into training his soldiers and then lead them straight into defeat, captivity, and bondage. He's not going to just hand over his soldiers to the enemy. Likewise, God is not raising up an army, a remnant, just to lead them straight into the hands of the enemy.
This is my first YouTube video, and the reason that I decided to make this video was that my wife sent me a text message with a Bible verse in Ezekiel here, and I just wanted to be able to share a dream that I had, because if I don't, then I didn't do my job. So basically, I wanted to share this dream that I had maybe about a week ago. And I don't accustomed to really document my dreams. Maybe I don't take myself seriously, or, you know, I think I just have to grow up in the Lord. But basically, I did have this dream, and I don't want to say, well, let's get to the dream. Basically, I had this dream that I was walking outside of my parents' neighborhood, and was walking on the sidewalk down a two-way street, and to the right of me there is conservation land, to the left there's conservation land, and all of a sudden while I'm walking I see that out of the blue sky comes out an airplane. Let's say it looked like a regular airliner, but around this airliner there was these, for lack of a better word, a UFO, right? I'm not saying that they were saucer shaped, but it was like different looking. It wasn't a fighter jet, but basically there was like 3 or 4 fighter jets that were swarming around this one bigger airplane. And I saw, in my mind, I don't know if it was at that point, but I felt that that was like an attack from Russia to the United States. And I know that sounds kind of weird because I threw in the word UFO and I'm thinking of aliens, but I'm not. I just saw that it was a different type of airplane, or unidentified flying object, and it was like bees swarming around the bigger airplane, and it would look like some sort of dogfight was going on, but anywho, while we're walking, I tell my wife and whoever's with me, let's go to the woods, or let's hide out in the woods, and no, and we're kind of like in discussion, and all of a sudden from behind us, from the distance, are like a troop of these black jeeps. These black jeeps come up on us, and it was too late, to execute a plan to run to the woods. But besides that, like, I had another part of the dream, and that was like I was in this small cottage. Like there was 2 or 3 cottages in this land. Maybe you can interpret it as a concentration camp or something. I don't know. But basically, while we were in this, I was me and some of my family members, and I was trying to help my family, more specifically with my mom, with a task. And then all of a sudden, like a general came in, dressed in black. It was like, not like combat fatigue, more like ceremonial suit with the cap, but it was black. And he told us to meet him outside in 5 minutes. And I just remember that, I felt that he was Russian as well. I mean, I don't know. Some people may say martial law. For some reason, I feel Russian. I don't know. I honestly, I can't tell you. But either way, I just know that, I told my family to hurry up and get out, and it was too late for me, so I just wanted to hide. I didn't want to go out there and it was too late, because if you're not timely, they can kill you as well. So I'm trying to hide, and I go under the desk, and I wanted to go into the attic. Somehow I managed to get out the house, and when I see they're setting fire on the roof of the house, and I'm seeing that from a little bit of a distance. So that's where my dream ended, and I woke up. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I decided to pray. After that, I don't know how much, if it was that same day, because I'm documenting this after the fact. But basically, I started reading the book of Amos because I wanted to finish the Bible. I haven't completed my biblical reading, the whole book of the Bible. But I started on the book of Amos as part of that. And it was interesting to me, Amos chapter 3. I'd have to really look into it to tell you specific facts, but I'm going to recommend that you look at Amos chapter 3, and it talks about, a land that is under judgment is going to be destroyed. And then it talks about an army that God raises for punishment, for judgment. So this military force that God raises for justice, or for judgment, is a force that cannot be beaten. It's a man force, but God, allowed this, or created this for judgment. And in my opinion, this time, if I can look at that prophecy and apply it to the times that we're living in, America is the land that is going to be judged. and Russia is going to be the country to bring the judgment. I'm a patriot. I love America. I love, the Constitution and the founding fathers, and I was born in the USA. I'm an American, and I love my people, perfect or not. We don't love sin, of course, right? But I believe that there's a strong military out there that's going to bring the judgment, and I believe that's going to be Russia. So I think that's the end of my video. This is my first video on YouTube. Please check out Amos chapter 3. God bless you.